Good evening. Police forces across the South West are reviewing security for our politicians. MPs have spent the day in Westminster paying tribute to the Conservative MP, Sir David Amess, who was stabbed to death during his constituency surgery in Essex on Friday. And this evening a service was held in his memory at Westminster Abbey. Here's our political correspondent, David Wood.
This is a simple but daily parliamentary procession, often hidden away. Today, though, it's on show to prove our democracy hasn't been knocked off step.
Honouring Sir David Amess.
MPs paused to remember one of their own. The killing of Sir David Amess has forced many MPs to worry about their safety.
The issues raised by the circumstances of Sir David's death will be looked at urgently and with the utmost priority.
Sir David's friends in the West Country say he wouldn't want his death to mean MPs are kept away from constituents.
But he wouldn't want colleagues to be worried and wouldn't want other horrible things to happen to parliamentary colleagues. I think he would want us to find a wise middle course, and I'm sure it's there for us. Doing surgeries has got to be done, I think, slightly differently, with a little bit more thought about personal security, but we must not pull up the drawbridge, and pull up the drawbridge we will not.
In Parliament, MPs are protected by layers of security, but when they step away from here and return to the South West, that disappears.
We've had far too many of these attacks in recent years, and we are going to have to do something about it. We cannot carry on thinking that the life of an MP is a price worth paying to continue practising democracy in the way we do it.
How safe do you feel as an MP?
Well, I feel pretty safe, not wholly safe all the time, and I tend to be conscious about what's going on around me.
And MPs elected more recently say they understand the risks, but that they can never be removed.
If you recognise that there will always be concerns about your safety and you'll have to look after yourself, I think the toxic environment that has been created in the past few years, I think is completely unsustainable.
I've always taken my own security quite seriously, and I'm reassured by my local police there are no threats that I need to be concerned about, and I very much hope I can carry on doing the job I've been doing in the manner I've been doing it.
Tomorrow, normal politics will return here. Today, this is a parliament in mourning, but a parliament determined to show democracy won't be defeated.
David Wood with that report. Here, a teenager has been charged following a stabbing on Torquay Harbourside. Armed police were called to the incident on Beacon Quay on Thursday night, which left 2 people injured. 19-year-old DJ Wilson from Torquay has been charged with wounding with intent and possession of a blade. 15-year-old girl arrested is on bail, while a 16-year-old boy has been released without charge. 6 men have appeared at Plymouth Crown Court accused of smuggling more than 2 tonnes of cocaine. 5 pleaded not guilty, while 1 didn't enter a plea. They were remanded in custody with a trial date set for March the 9th. Almost 2.5 tonnes of cocaine, estimated to have a street value of around £160 million, was found on board a luxury yacht off the coast of Plymouth last month. All lanes on the Tamar Bridge are open to traffic again after resurfacing works came to an end 2 weeks ahead of schedule. Heavy traffic has been building up around the crossing for the past few months. The work's now finished in time for the half-term break. Now, a special service was held at Exeter Cathedral over the weekend to honour NHS and care workers who worked through the pandemic. The service was to thank them for their selfless determination during the past 20 months. Richard Lawrence reports.
A powerful, heartfelt service to say thank you.
You have worked with great love, and you are an inspiration to us all.
In this iconic building, the Bishop of Exeter described the care and health workers in their PPE as the iconic images of the past year.
We were a nation that was paralysed by fear, and yet these people went out. They didn't often have the right equipment, and they risked themselves, and many of our NHS staff died, and some ended up with long COVID. We need to honour that memory, and the examples of grace and self-sacrifice and just caring for people are legion.
Only representatives from sectors of the care and health services across Devon were invited due to COVID considerations. During a time to reflect, they were invited to bring pertinent items to the altar table, from baby scales to a ward clerk's constantly sanitised pen to a set of scrubs from the Nightingale Hospital. The NHS staff and care workers were grateful for the service.
We've been able to give support to others in times of need. Whenever the need comes or the need arises, we're always there to support others, and that is the joy that we have.
It's a really wonderful celebration of how maternity's had to continue throughout the pandemic, and as always we come to work every day for our mums and our babies, and that's the most important thing.
Nothing's changed, you know, babies are still being born, we still have to be there for every single woman and their families.
It brings up some good and bad memories, but again with the people there doing this service, and the music is really calming and making me feel like, wow, being part of the NHS, and I'm proud of it.
The church in Devon has been taking its advice from one of its vicars, Professor Gina Radford, who was England's Deputy Chief Medical Officer until 2019.
We're not out of the woods yet. We've still got rising cases. We're facing a challenging winter. So now it's right to stop, to say thank you, and to have a period of reflection for all those who work in our NHS and social care.
The cathedral is old enough to have experienced a previous pandemic. The plague of the 14th century wiped out teams involved in its construction. But now the church is looking ahead, hoping to welcome back full congregations here in time. Richard Lawrence, ITV News.
Now, 3 cottages that were in danger of being sold off as holiday homes have been saved by a local community for its own young people. And it's just the start of a bigger project in Corsand in Cornwall, where more than 50% of homes are second homes. Jackie Bird has been finding out more.
It's somehow rather fitting that in this old Coast Guard cottage overlooking Corsand Bay, which has had new life breathed into it by the Peninsula Trust, newborn Elijah Voisey has his bedroom. His mum and dad, Levi and Rosie, are amongst the first tenants of 3 cottages bought from Cornwall Council by the Peninsula Trust to save them from being snapped up as holiday homes. Levi's family have lived in the area for generations, but without this unusual form of social housing, he simply would not have been able to have afforded to stay living here.
It's amazing. He's got his own room. That was kind of why we were looking for a 2-bed, just because we needed the bedroom for him.
But financially it's very stable because it's social housing.
After the Peninsula Trust bought these properties, they asked local people to apply to rent them. More than 40 people did, all local people who were finding it impossible to find suitable housing in a place where 50% of the year, a similar percentage of the homes in this village, stand empty. One of them was Chloe Taylor, who was renting a tiny flat that she had to move out of for the whole of August to allow it to be used as a holiday let.
So I'm really, really grateful we've got this place and have been able to stay. My partner's a fisherman with the local fishermen here in Corsand as well. He's one of the last fishermen down here. And without having him on the boat, he'd probably have to stop doing what he does as well, because he's getting on and it's hard work for an old boy, isn't it? So, yeah, we're incredibly grateful we've got this place.
Its latest project is this building. Once the ship in before it was devastated by fire, the Trust is rebuilding it from the ground up, with a community cafe just reopening after COVID.
You walk through somewhere like a village like this in the winter and at least half the properties are empty because they are second homes.
And the next plan is to turn the upstairs space into 4 more flats for, you've guessed it, local people, keeping the soul in this village so that locals like little Elijah can plan their future here. Jackie Bird, ITV News, Corsand.
Right, let's get the forecast for the next couple of days. Charlie has the details tonight.
Great Western Railway sponsors the ITV West Country weather.
Evening. Now, for the rest of this week, the weather will stay pretty messy, to say the least, really. Very autumnal, a lot of cloud and wet weather from time to time. Something a little bit dry and brighter, perhaps, but still quite windy for the next few days and feeling really quite mild for the time of year as well. Certainly the case for tonight. It's pretty dry out there right now. So much low cloud, misty murkiness around, but further wet weather arriving by the time we get through to Tuesday morning. Strong winds as well and really ridiculously mild. Lows only 15 or 16 Celsius, not dropping an awful long way from where they rose to earlier on today. So yeah, mild, cloudy, wet start, but the rain at least goes through fairly quickly, giving us a little window of something a bit drier, maybe a little bit brighter, but the second of the fronts then arrives as we head through the course of Tuesday afternoon. A windy day, windier than I think it was earlier on, and temperatures a bit higher as well, 18 Celsius in a number of places, admittedly where it stays a little bit drier into the afternoon. Temperatures do come down a bit though. Wednesday, Thursday still quite unsettled, perhaps something a bit more showery as we head through that middle part of the week. Then a change in wind direction, so by Friday it looks like it should be mostly dry, but I think it will feel quite cold by then.
Great Western Railway sponsors the ITV West Country weather.
Charlie, thank you. That's where it looks across the West Country tonight. There's more news for you on our website, and we're back tomorrow morning during Good Morning Britain. But from all of us on the Late News, very good night. Bye-bye.